Don't ever go over my head again.
When you think of Casino, you think power, loyalty, and betrayal. Sam Rothstein and Nicky Santoro were supposed to be unstoppable together. Friends, allies, partners in crime. So how did their bond turn into such a brutal rivalry that tore their world apart? This wasn't just friendship gone wrong. It was an implosion, fueled by greed, ego, and vengeance. Join us as we break down the rise and fall of Sam and Nicky's explosive relationship in Exploring Conflict in Film, Sam Rothstein and Nicky Santoro. Welcome to Solicit Cinema, where we talk movies and I always call it like I see it. I'm your host, Brandy, and today we have an amazing guest. He's a wonderful storyteller and truly an award-winning filmmaker. Say hello to my wonderful husband, Brandon Hill.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, baby.
Hey, baby.
All right, you ready to unpack Sam and Nicky's friendship?
I'm ready.
Now listen, spoilers ahead for anyone who hasn't seen the movie. I highly recommend going to see it first, but it's cool if you don't. It's just, you're going to get a lot of spoilers. So,
This movie came out how long ago?
this movie came out in 1995.
Okay, screw your spoilers. People so soft these days. Oh my gosh. You haven't seen this movie already? Whatever.
Amen. Points are being made. All right, so let's talk about Sam. Very detail-oriented. He was a handicap gambler, which is illegal back home, but it's legitimate in Las Vegas. He runs the casino. Like, what else would you say about his personality? I would say he's a little arrogant. That's for sure. He got arrogant over time.
Well, over time, yeah, but when you first have the character establishment of Sam Rothstein, he's very detail-oriented. Like, he's very focused on what he's doing. Like, he's a gambler, and he's going as far as, checking on people, their psychological perspective before going into a fight, injuries. Like, he's very, very detailed. It's not like he's on, Vegas sportsbook and just hoping and praying. Like, he does this extensive research to pick his winners.
Right.
And that's literally how we establish his character. That's what he does. That's what he does day in and day out. He can pick winners.
He bets on sure things.
Yeah, bets on sure things.
And it's a sure thing because he does his due diligence based on the detail orientation you're talking about, that nature. And I love how they broke it down in the movie, how he's on this day and night. That's how Nicky describes it when he's talking about Sam. He's on top of this day and night, and, to the point where he doesn't even think he has fun with it. He knows everything there is to know about players, about even down to the wood in the basketball court. That's pretty serious. I'm like, who do you even go to ask? Because there's no Google. I think that Sam is very much a level-headed businessman. You know what I mean? He moves, like you mentioned, he moves with purpose. He's not just out here carelessly doing stuff. He is very meticulous, very organized.
Diligent. He moves like clockwork. It's like, he's like the rising and setting of the sun. He is on it. He doesn't miss.
Right.
From the way he dresses, to when he shows up to work, to the hours that he works, to putting the same amount of blueberries in the muffins at the casino. He's very, very strict and disciplined and diligent in what he does.
Mm-hmm. Nicky, what would you say about Nicky?
The exact opposite.
Polar opposite, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't say polar. He has this arrogance about him as well. He's disloyal. He's hot-tempered, or short-tempered, whichever you prefer. Very violent.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, very violent. Scary guy, especially for his height.
Well, that's probably why. I mean, when you small, people try to push you over. So he probably felt like he needed to.
He definitely has little man syndrome, I would say. But,
little man syndrome?
I definitely give him some little man syndrome, but yeah, very, very violent person.
Oh, man. I would say he's a little chaotic, unpredictable, definitely short-tempered. I agree with that 100%. I mean, the scene with the pen, I think, tells us everything we need to know about his short temper. Whereas Sam was trying to figure out why the guy was saying what he was saying. He was like, dude, I'm just trying to give you a pen. Nicky is like, excuse me, let me just, you know what I'm saying? Now, when it comes to the organization that they were in, I think it's necessary to point out the fact that they had very distinctive roles. And I think them not staying within those roles was definitely part of the problem. They make a good pair at first. They're like the perfect pair. They're best friends. one gets money, one makes sure that the other one can get money by being like the muscle, the enforcer to keep people away from the golden, what do you call them?
Yeah, golden goose
the golden goose. Keep them away from him so that they can, make that money, right? That was the whole point of them being in Vegas. Where did we go wrong? What do you think was the first thing that happened?
I think it was Nicky, because he quotes in the movie that he views Vegas as being untouched. Mm-hmm. So he wanted to just, just the wild, wild west and start, knocking over people and going into bookies and just doing whatever he wanted to do, just rob, steal, and kill, and just take money.
Right.
Instead of doing it the way that it was supposed to be done, which was quiet. Because like you said, his original responsibility is to go out there and protect the golden goose, which is Sam Rothstein. He didn't do that. He was just like, oh, they're back home. They're not gonna know what we're doing. It was like, dude, you're not out here for that.
Right.
So, he was doing what he was doing, and I believe that's where it started.
I would agree with you there. I think it definitely started with him not coming out there doing more than what he was supposed to do. Now, he did make a point in the movie where he said, I gotta earn, right? So my thing is, what was he supposed to do for money? Because they never established that he's like getting a flat rate for being out there to protect Ace. That's never established. So his way of earning is to steal. Now, my thing is, I'm not upset about him stealing as long as he keeps it quiet. Like Sam said, you got to keep things quiet. I'm running a legitimate place. What does Nicky do? He comes in and he bulldozes his way into Vegas. Not only does he start stealing, he starts stealing from the Tangiers. That's the part that I don't get. I'm just like, why couldn't you steal from the other places? You literally, in one scene, you're protecting the Tangiers from these guys doing what? Trying to steal 200,000? You remember that? Like, how you go from that to getting the dealers at the Tangiers, you got them under your thumb, and then you have a crew going in there with because they're allowing the signal happy behavior, and now you're stealing through the tables, talking about we're supposed to be out here stealing, you dumb and it's like, not from here, not you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you follow
the scam in the scam,
right? And I'm like, where in his mind did he make up in his mind that is what he was supposed to be doing? That is not what he was supposed to be doing at all, right?
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
He brought heat to the Tangiers. He brought the eyes of the police. He's skimming the skim, you know what I'm saying? And it's disrespectful. This is a businessman, and Sam really took pride in his business. So I don't think that that's like a small thing. That was a huge thing. And I think that was like the first fracture in their friendship, was Nicky repeatedly disrespecting his business, the Tangiers. Now, granted, he didn't own the place, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you coming up in here and you're signal happy, and now you got the eyes of the gaming board on you. They're looking to nail you. And I done went around town introducing you to all these people as, he called it regular Ozzie and Harriet's. He's vouching for this guy, and now you got your gangster stuff like all on display. That's a major problem for somebody like Sam. But when it comes to Sam, what was his first misstep?
Regarding the friendship?
Regarding their friendship.
I wouldn't say Sam had a misstep until when he complained back home about Nicky's behavior.
You told me when he was talking to Andy Stone?
Yeah, whoever that guy was in the
get
car.
Lost. Yeah, the guy in the car was Andy.
Yeah, maybe we should get lost for a little bit. He's bringing way too much heat. I feel like that was like, if you even want to call that a misstep. It's just like, dude is out of control. Like, what is he supposed to do? Like, Sam has no muscle. So even though that's his friend, like he's come to him several times already. So now this is about business. So according to Nicky, went over his head. But I would say from Sam's side, that was the first fracture, so to speak, in their relationship or their friendship. I can't recall any, missteps in my opinion, because Sam was doing what he was supposed to do. And that's the downside of mixing business and friendship.
Well, it's not like I guess they had a choice, but Nicky said he was sent. That doesn't sound like he had a choice to go to Vegas, which I thought the car conversation was interesting when Nicky was like, what do you think about me coming out here? He said the bosses sent him. So it's like, who cares? I guess he wants to know what he thinks, but he asks like for his permission. So you mean I have your permission? And I'm like, what do you mean your permission? Like, the bosses sent you out here. Why would you even need his permission. I really felt like for the longest time Sam didn't do anything, but I do think that maybe there was a misstep before that was very small. When Ginger, she was pissed off at Sam because he beat up Lester, right? And had that whole situation. But then Nicky and Sam got into it about that about the banker. You remember the banker came over to the house because Nicky had invested $50,000 to try to, you got to do something with your drug money and your thug money and all. You got to wash it. So he invested it and he lost it, and he got that guy over. Remember that scene? In that scene, two things. I think a few fractures happened in that scene. One of them being that once again, Sam needs to now go straighten something out with some that Nicky did, right? And this guy even looked to Sam like, dude, get your boy, right? So I think that was one. But when it comes to Sam, you remember Nicky brought up Ginger and was like, you got problems even with your own wife. That's another, first of all, like, it's cool that Nicky brought that up, but I don't think that was the time. But I think where Sam went wrong was like, stay out of my personal business. Remember he said that? If I were Nicky, that would piss me off. If we're best friends, almost like family, and just last week, just like he even mentioned in the movie, just last week, you call on me to go deal with this whole Lester situation with your wife, but now all of a sudden it's stay out of my business, stay out of my personal business. What you mean? We friends. Like, I think that was not necessarily a misstep per se, but it is, would condescending be the word? And I kind of get a hint of that off of Sam. Like, I wonder if Sam felt the same way about Nicky as how Nicky felt about him. You know what I mean? Because in that moment, you're a man. These are men. I don't know. But do you think that could have hurt him? I think it did because of what he said. Do you think that comment, stay out of my personal business? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you mean, dog? Like, we're friends. I think that would be hurtful to say that to a friend who just did this solid for you just last week and has been holding you down for years now, and y'all are supposed to be besties. So, what do you think about that?
Well, I think it's twofold, just being men. Number one, Nicky has not shown himself to be a true friend to Sam because he has repeatedly disrespected his business, which is, to me, that's like grounds for dismissal, just like a regular friendship. You are currently messing with my money and with my job, my responsibility. So if you're really my friend, you would be respecting what I'm out here to do, and he has disrespected him on multiple occasions, whether it's his gangster buddies or it's him personally. So that's one. So for him to bring that up, now the second thing would be he brought that up in the middle of a conversation. You're talking about putting hands on somebody that you don't need to be putting hands on. I'm trying to straighten this out, and now you want to bring up the fact that that I'm being disrespectful to my wife, and you as my friend did not bring up the conversation that you and Ginger had been talking. Yeah. So if we're gonna talk about friendship, you're my muscle. You're supposed to be doing me solids. Doesn't have really anything to do with the Tangiers, but like, hey, I got an issue with this dude, whatever like that. He's messing with my wife. Hey, you're my attack dog. Go attack. So just because like the dog doesn't need to sit at the dinner table. So you're my attack dog. I need you to go handle something. Go handle it. I don't need you in my personal business. I don't care for friends. This has nothing to do with the conversation at hand. I'm very, like me particularly, I'm very, very strict about trying to keep the main thing. Like, don't try to jump topics. We're talking about this. You're out of control, and he's gonna run to the board or whatever that guy was doing. Like, you need to chill out. I don't need to hear about Ginger and these conversations that you guys are having behind my back right now. Stay out of my business.
Yeah, that was not the time. Because if he would have brought that up any other time, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, man, your wife came to talk to me. She was telling me about X, Y, and Z. I think that would have been way better. Like, it would have been well received. Yeah. But bringing it up in a heated argument, all in to me, under the guise of deflection. He was just trying to deflect. Like, this is you. This is a you problem. Now, some of the stuff he was saying wasn't necessarily wrong. Sam was getting too big for his britches. Sam was getting arrogant. Sam was, ordering people around a little bit. He wasn't like, you know, the humility that he had was like, nah, it's pretty much gone, right? I don't think that was the time to bring that up at all. But he did have a point though. It's not like he was just talking out of his he deflected, but it's just like, dude, this is not the time. You just threatened somebody in my house and he's gonna run to the FBI. That heat puts heat on me, and this is now something else that I have to deal with. And now you sit up here talking about you done talk to my wife. When? Yeah, that's a fucking problem. It's a big problem, I would say. So Nicky and Ginger, I've been trying to figure out, where did the flip happen? Where did what happened to where Nicky now is willing to cross this boundary with Ginger? Because if they're supposed to be dear friends, then you wouldn't dare. But I just kind of feel like something must have happened to where he's just like has no regard for Sam anymore. Like the friendship is broken for you to start messing with the dude's wife, right? But, or do you think that that's just Nicky's character, and that it doesn't matter if things were good or bad, he would have smashed Ginger?
No, definitely. I mean,
really? You think good or bad, Ginger was on the table?
Oh, definitely.
Why do you say that?
Because I'm a man, and I saw the way that he looked at Ginger the first time he met her.
Oh, when he said, what you been doing out here?
I mean, he did not, like, you go back and watch that scene, his eyes were locked on. He did not look away.
He didn't have any regard for his woman.
Nah, not at all.
She was like...
Like, she's right there, but just like, he doesn't care. That's just what he does. But like I said before, he's disloyal. He's disloyal to Sam. He's disloyal to the bosses back home. So he's disloyal to his wife, adultery.
Yeah.
Why would you care? He's disloyal. He's out for himself.
True.
It doesn't matter who gets involved or anything else. Nicky is out for himself. So why would he not smash Ginger? That's a part of his character. He's a disloyal guy.
You know, I think that Nicky carried around a lot of resentment. I mean, you can just kind of tell by his storytelling when he talks about the bosses, when he talks about Sam, like he tries to take credit for Sam's accomplishments. He says, me protecting Ace, that's what got him to Vegas. And then he's tired of the shit back home. He's tired of the bosses. He's tired of everything. And it's just like, maybe he lives with resentment. Maybe just because he's just some muscle, because he's a made guy. Now, I don't understand how with the whole thing about made guys and what that means. But he's like you just compared him to like a dog.
He's an attack dog.
He's an attack dog, right? So I don't know how that works, if made guys being attack dogs and stuff like that, but it seems to me that it was very clear to everyone, including, especially Nicky, right? It was very clear that Sam is more valuable. So maybe he resented that fact.
Could be.
You know what I'm saying? And maybe that's where all of this starts. He doesn't like, how far is he gonna go in Kansas City? You know, like you said, it's untouched. It's his perfect opportunity to set his flag. I'm here. I'm the new gangster of Las Vegas. But I think he resented everything. I think he resented the fact that the bosses gave him that job. Watch him, because watch his back, because he's gonna be making a lot of money for us. He is making a lot of money. He's gonna continue making a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, I think he was really resentful. And then I saw it in his face when Ginger told him how much money he had set aside for her, and that's just ready to go in the bank. $1 million in jewelry, maybe more, set aside for his wife in the event that something happens between them. I think that really pissed him off, because you gotta think how much money Sam must have. If he got $1 million in jewelry for Ginger, $2 million in cash in case he ever was, shaken down or kidnapped or whatever, plus the house, plus whatever else, you know what I'm saying? So I would imagine that if I were Nicky, I'd be pretty pissed off.
Why?
No, if I were Nicky being a made guy, Nicky being not as valuable to Sam and having millions of dollars at his disposal. Like, Sam is paid, like crazy paid. Nicky is not that paid. Remember, they said that even back home, Sam could make more money in one weekend than Nicky could boosting, doing heists or whatever in a whole month. Now you're in Vegas and you just got millions because he was, I'm just curious how much he would put into a thing like that. I think that was him fishing to gauge how much money Sam really has, because how could he really know? Sam is a millionaire. That's gotta bother Nicky. If he's what you say, what we say he is, he's disloyal, he's resentful, he's gotta be jealous.
Definitely.
How could you not be jealous? This is your friend. Y'all came up together, but he somehow is way more valuable than you. So Sam, the bosses, everything. I'm out for me. I'm doing what the I want to do. I'm seizing this opportunity to pave my own way. And now my friend is telling me he doesn't want any parts of it. That also happened in that conversation at the house. So even though it may not make any sense to us, I think that in his gangster feelings, however much loyalty there is, because they say there's no honor among thieves anyway, right? So maybe that's really what we're looking at. This is what friendship between criminals look like. It's like you're a criminal. Like, how much loyalty can you possibly have? I mean, I know some people really do, but it's just like, you follow what I'm saying? Yeah. Any commentary on that?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think this really just all stems from jealousy.
Yeah.
That's really what it comes from.
So would you say that is what happened between them? Because I'm trying to pinpoint, maybe there's not just one thing.
Yeah, I believe it's not one thing, but I think if I were to give a foundation for it, it'd be resentment and jealousy combined, like a mixture of the two.
From Nicky's side.
Nicky's side, for sure.
Now, let me ask you this, because I personally do not think that Sam and Nicky were on the same page about what their relationship even was.
Of course.
I think that because Nicky said it, he's got me, Nicky Santoro, his best friend, watching his back. And then when he was on the phone with the guy, he's like, he didn't know we were dear friends. He says it a lot. I can't think of one time in the whole movie that Sam ever acknowledged Nicky as his friend. Now, taking him around town and introducing them, is that a sign of friendship, or is that what he's supposed to do because the bosses sent him out here? So it's like, do you think they were friends at all going from both sides? Do you think that they're kind of friends? Or do you think that Nicky was just deep and Sam looked at Nicky like just another colleague? Like, I'm just kind of curious, what was their relationship really? Because from what it seems like, Sam used Nicky as muscle. And that's really where I'm not gonna say that's where it stopped, because he did show him grace. But was he shown grace because of the bosses? And Nicky's a made guy and you're not trying to fuck with him? Or is it because you're his friend and you're trying, and you know what I'm saying? I don't even know what motivated Sam when it came to dealing with Nicky, and if they were ever really friends from Sam's point of view. What do you think?
I believe there are no friends, period, when you in that kind of business, because the same people that you were helping you skim the skim are the same people you just like, oh, we got pinched, so let's just go ahead and kill them. Yeah. That's not what I call friendship. So when you're dealing with the mob, there are no friends. Your friends will kill you. So that's just the way I see it, just from the ground up. Like, if you're just talking about just their relationship, the way that Nicky treated Sam and the way that Sam treated Nicky, like, no, they're not friends. It's all business. It's all business with the mafia, as we've seen in these movies. So they'll kill you. Like, you'll kill your own brother or your own family members. Didn't matter. So no, I wouldn't call that a friendship.
So that's what it is. They weren't really friends to begin with. So these are just words. It's just lip service.
There's people that have probably even known me or known you. Like, oh yeah, I've been friends with Brandy for 15 years. They're friends in their mind. But even still, if you were to put the proof in the pudding, we're not friends. It's just, I've known you a long time and you've been around, but I would consider him my friend. People call me friends right now. It's like, I don't consider you my friend. But at the end of the day, in the mafia, there are no friends.
Right.
Like, they will kill you if it came down to it. It's dog eat dog in the mafia world, in that we have seen in the movies.
Now, we talked about how Nicky wanted Ginger, but actually having sex with her, at that point, do you think that was just vindictive behavior? Or like you said, you just maintain that he was just she put it on the table and he took it and that was it. Like, I just don't understand. Like, even what you're saying, because of how serious it is, they said you can't have anybody having sex with the other one's wives. That's a big issue, big enough to where all of them could have gotten killed for it. That's what that guy said. So why take the risk? Yes, Nicky is Nicky, but Nicky ain't trying to go up against the bosses, not for real.
No, he said at the bus stop, he's like, hey, if they want a war, we can have a war.
He did say that.
He's at that point to where he was ready to go to war with the bosses.
Yeah, just full tilt.
Just full tilt. He's a loose cannon. He's degraded them so many times throughout the film. He has a very huge distaste for the bosses.
Why?
Because he doesn't want to be told what to do. He wants to be a boss. So people like Nicky don't like authority. So he resented the fact that he's sent out there to do this job. He resents the fact that he cannot do it his way. Then remember, he got big for his britches too. He got in the same position that Sam Rothstein was in.
He did.
He became like one of those criminal overlords that's always in the news, always in the press. That's got to be great. Like, hey, you can't catch me.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm watching you right back. They're gonna watch me. They're gonna tap my phones. It was a game to him. You get to be that guy like that Al Capone level, to where like you're constantly in the news for alleged crimes that they can pin nothing on you because the witnesses keep disappearing. So now he's getting his level of fame in Las Vegas too. So I've gotten so big for my britches. Like, shoot, the boss has got a problem with it. Come on, I'll take you on. I built up my own army out here. I'm in Las Vegas. Like, the cops can't catch me. How do you think you're gonna be able to catch me?
He had people everywhere. Making calls,
and switching
watching
cars,
people.
All that stuff.
You know, did he check in the loan? He checked in the loan. And I'm like, how? Damn. Like, but yeah, he had a lot of people on his payroll and just part of his crew.
Yeah, he got his level of fame as well. But to circle back around to your original question, I do not believe it was vindictive. I believe that his yes was on the table. Ginger presented the opportunity because he was apprehensive at first. But obviously they got a little bit too comfortable.
What you mean apprehensive? When?
Like, he's not fully engaging. It's just like, oh yeah, it's gonna be fine, this and this. But he wasn't like fully, like, she was all up on him. Like, he stayed in the pocket. He should not have, but he did. So it wasn't like he was trying to fully take her down. But his yes was clearly on the table because of his inappropriate behavior. Like those long hugs and, kisses on the forehead and all this other stuff. Like, you don't need to get that cuddly with someone else's wife.
It was kisses on the lips. Yeah. Do you remember when she was like, you're so nice? She kissed him 3 times on the lips, even though they were little pecks.
I'm talking about before that.
Oh, before that?
Before that, there was inappropriate behavior, but he allowed it because he wanted Ginger.
When was it? The only time I remember inappropriate behavior was when they talked right after Lester got beat up. There was inappropriate behavior before that?
I'm talking about they were like just their close conversation. Like, you can say, like, if you like somebody, you would probably with the man, they want to see how far they can go with you. So even though there's some apprehension, like, oh yeah, this, because I'm married, and also, but I want you as well. So when she starts to really be, touchy cozy and stuff like that, he allowed certain things. But even when she's kind of all up on him, she's like, okay, yeah, you're fine, you'll be fine. Wasn't like he just jumped all on it, but he stayed in the fire and allowed himself to get burned up. That's what I mean.
Okay, I get it. Like, once it was clear that she wants to do this, like right now, he was just ready in the wings and waiting. He wasn't gonna pull the trigger himself, but if she pulled it, he's right there, ready to go. Yeah. Just because he wanted her. You don't think it had anything to do with Sam?
Nothing. He wanted her from the first time he saw her.
I know, but just because you want somebody doesn't mean you're gonna take them down. You know what I mean? Like,
when hasn't he? He's walking chicks out to the car to go, do stuff with them, and he's got a wife and all this other stuff. I'm like,
that's not his friend's wife.
But he wanted somebody. But again, he saw who he wanted, and then like, hey, let's go to the car. It was immediate.
Yeah, that's too bad. So, do you think that Nicky tried to kill Sam? Do you think he was behind that explosion?
Ooh.
I know it's tough, right?
It's a tough one.
I will go ahead and say that he was, because it's implied in the movie. He says, I suspect that I know who was behind the bombing, and I think the bosses did too. And that's when we transition into the powers that be, I think is what he said. Then we transition to the very next scene when they die. And you got to think that white, the gray-haired one, I forget his name, he was part of Nicky's crew.
Yeah.
I almost said team. Like they are not a team.
Yeah.
But I mean, kind of, but he was part of Nicky's crew. It almost looked like right before he cracked his head open, it almost looked like he felt a way about this. So that order had to come from above. Like, why would you just turn on your boy like that? I mean, like you said, there are no real friends. You get the order, you got to kill somebody, you do what you got to do, right? Yeah. But I would assume that the order came from up top because that guy was there. Why would he be there? Because he said that Nicky said he arranged the meeting with the bosses, right?
Yeah.
So why would old boy be there and participating if that order didn't come from above?
Well, definitely came from above, but it makes sense for him to be there.
Yeah.
For Nicky's sake.
Now there is a theory out there that's true to make him feel comfortable, you think? That's true.
They did it in The Godfather. It's just like, and even people's like, hey, if this guy comes to you, whoever sets up the meeting is the traitor. But it's like your own friends. Make you feel comfortable, like, oh yeah, I got this perfect spot, and then boom.
Got you. Somebody theorizes that the guy that was going off in the, I guess maybe before he had a heart attack, somebody was saying that character, I don't know, like, was known for car bombs. So they suspected that the guy that was going back and forth, remember the one, I'm gonna start keeping records, remember him? They suspected that he set it up because he was pissed off, because if Sam was doing his job, he wouldn't be having to go back and forth. And that dude, I guess the real life character, he was known for car bombing or for bombings. So they were like, that's another theory that it could have been him. But it's just like, that's all it takes. I mean, you want the skim, right? Sam is running stuff and, but I don't know.
He died of a heart attack.
Right, so he would have,
Came after
exactly, that's why I was like, that doesn't quite hold water. But that was a theory that I saw floating around. But I thought it was pretty clear that it would be Nicky, but why would Nicky want to kill Sam?
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's just like, that's why I'm not so quick to jump on the bandwagon like, oh yeah, he set the car bombing up. I mean, it could make sense. I mean, he has all the motive, but it'll be just, if anything, just to get rid of somebody that can link him to having sex with his wife, because obviously that's like a huge thing. But
so like, get him before he can get me type.
Yeah, kind of deal, or just eliminate it altogether. But car bombings are typically Italian mobster things, so it's just like somebody did it that's Italian, that's in the mob. So the hit had to come from somewhere. Who else would it come if it didn't come from back home? Unless you have some rival mobster gang out there in Las Vegas, which we didn't see. Like, who else would it have come from? So
Ginger.
Yeah. Like, who would Ginger have gotten to do that?
She was trying to get Nicky to do it, but remember,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. But he argued. He was like, I'm supposed to just kill the guy. I've known him for 35 years. And I'm supposed to just kill him?
I'm supposed to whack him for you.
Yeah, I'm supposed to just whack him for you?
That's true. So what if it was Ginger? Because Ginger, she said it very clear, I've had it. I want him dead. And remember, Ginger is one of the most well-known, well-liked, and connected hustlers in the city. Who's to say that she couldn't find somebody else to blow his car up?
Sure.
I mean, I don't think that's a tall order for somebody like her. If she, or even Lester could have did that shit for her or hooked it up for her.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was amateur night. So if Nicky was doing car bombings, they would have been professionally done. He'd be dead. Yeah. So I'm just like, yeah, it looks like he may have, but at the same time, there's just no clear evidence that Nicky set the car bomb or had it ordered.
And he said he got out of there when the drop came down right away.
Yeah, right away.
But that doesn't mean that he couldn't have someone else do it.
Yeah, I just have never been sold on the fact that Nicky did it. Like, if I'm going to pin blame on somebody, I can speculate all day long. Do I have any proof that Nicky ordered the car bombing or had anything to do with it? No. So, like I said, from the beginning, it's hard to say. I cannot conclusively say that he set it up.
I want to know who did. It seems like the movie alludes to Nicky.
Oh, for sure.
Because of what Sam said right before they killed Nicky and his brother.
Yeah.
But they could have been wrong.
But again, like they said, they had a pretty good idea. Like you didn't guess. You don't know.
Nobody knows.
Just like when he ordered the other guy killed, who was loyal to the bosses back home.
Andy Stone.
And when they got pinched, you're just like, three guys. Like, he's been loyal. Nah, he wouldn't roll on us. Like, why take the chance? Boom, dead. You don't know he's gonna roll on you, but you just made a decision. You just like they didn't know Nicky set the car bomb. They just made a decision.
What if it was the bosses?
Try to kill Sam?
I'm just saying, what if? Like, go down this rabbit hole with me for just a second. What if they were just trying to clean house? Everybody dies. Ginger dies, Sam dies, Nicky and his brother die. Every single, because he said, why take a chance? But once he survived it, maybe they were like, he did always make money. Let's just bring him back home and I'll just do. What if it was the bosses all along?
That would make more sense.
And maybe that's why they took. I mean, I don't know. I don't know now. This conversation has really opened my mind up to like, what if it was even the bosses? So, as far as the dissolution of their friendship, it seems like what we've come to, like we've concluded that they weren't even friends. But let's entertain this idea that there's friends. They're as much of friends as you can be as criminals. You know what I'm saying? But we're pointing to Nicky as being the one to blame. Like, that's evident. Nicky is the one that kicked this whole thing off with the dissolution of their friendship. Yeah, you'd say so.
Or whatever friendship they had.
Yeah,
Nicky definitely started the disrespect for sure.
Yeah, that messing with his business stuff is not. And like Nicky seemed, and maybe I guess that's just the type to try to justify their behavior, because it's like, we're supposed to be out here robbing the joint. Like, not you. Where you get all these ideas from? Sam's not supposed to be here stealing for himself. He's stealing for the bosses. This is all for the bosses.
Right.
Okay. Now we got to talk about Sam and Ginger. What broke them up? But we'll save that for the next one.
Okay.
Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more awesome content.